All right, we should be live, I think. I pushed the button. Looks like we're live. Great. Thanks for watching the VODs. Thanks for all the comments. I was a little bit behind on getting those posted up to the team, so we wound up with like... It wound up being like 12 or 13 like images of just screen caps sent over to the team. Thanks again for all the comments. I think I'm caught up on responding and clicking the little heart and all that stuff, so appreciate it. Hey Tsunami-san. XV, Fuller, what's going on? Little slow start tonight. We were just trying to wrap up. We're in a very exciting chapter of the 7th Dungeon Crawler Carl book. We were listening to that during dinner. And it ran a bit long. We had a little dessert and coffee and continued to listen and got to a nice lull in a big battle. So went ahead and actually made it here semi on time, but got to get my head in the game. Speaking of, a little gun shy, like, gotta watch as I'm setting up. Like, sometimes I just rush straight into the stream, running late or whatever, and there may be stuff on my desktop that we don't, air quotes, want you to see, or some shit pops up or whatever. My biggest challenge with that is usually I try to make sure everything's hidden over on the other monitor. I really need a third monitor. My biggest thing with a lot of that though is I'm just like, of our info, there's so little that I'm like, I think the only thing I would be worried about you guys really ever seeing, because you can edit some, kill the VOD, edit some shit out, and then put it up before you put it on YouTube. My only concern would be like personal info of anybody, like security related stuff. Everything else, I mean, I'm kind of like, I don't know, man. Most of it, maybe I'm just old and jaded or something, but it's like there's a lot of stuff in our DB, especially as more stuff goes into DB. Maybe it's not good to scroll around in the DB on screen, so we'll just have to watch that. Because we want to keep streaming even after we go live. Just watch some stuff like that, but for the most part, it's like, all right, there's some stuff you're gonna figure out. There's the interesting phenomenon of like people that, like, I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting project because I don't know, maybe I'm out of sync with the world or something, but like I look at it like there's gonna be people that are gonna like be so sweaty, and so I understand that this is, it's, if it's a good MMO, like if it's something that's considered successful within our little tiny corner of the world, I know there's going to be like, there's this weird like internet dick thing that goes on where it's like, they're going to be the people that just want to be the biggest swinging cocks in the game. And just like, oh, dude, we were first and everything, like day one and all this stuff. And I understand it's part of the game and part of the culture, but it's also kind of like, okay, you won, you beat Eminem. Now what? Come back in 5 months when we got new shit for you to blast through in a day. It's like my dog. Like, I will give my dog like really interesting treats every once in a while. It's like the skin from the salmon we just had, right? Like, here's the salmon skin. And sometimes he'll get some chewing. He'll chew the salmon skin. And like, you can tell he's tasting, and I'm excited for him because he doesn't get salmon skin every day, right? Like, I'm excited because he's, he's got that crazy ass nose, that crazy ass tongue. He's probably tasting some incredible flavors. And so I'm happy that he's having that experience. But then there are other times when you you put it down there for him, he just inhales it. He didn't even chew it once. It didn't. I don't even think it touched his tongue. I'm kind of like, well, what's the point of that shit? You know, like, so every once in a while, if it's something really good, I'll just latch on to it so he's got to like chew it out of my hand. Lich said, as if we're not already ripping apart every frame for your thousands of hours of streams already. It's so weird. To me, that's like the equivalent of, I don't know, like, it's like playing Leisure Suit Larry for the first time in like 1988 or something, and just like working and working and working and working and working and working to see like the barest little potential slight little, what, a digitized 386 nipple. I don't like. Okay, cool, man. There's like 700 videos. Dig through and find the secrets, I guess. Find the secrets. Be the winner of M&M. Make videos about how you're the winner of M&M, I guess. And I might be, you know, I might get reprimanded behind the scenes about not understanding modern internet culture or something, but it's kind of like, okay. Cool. All right, so what's up, Costanza, Lich, Gunner, Chaz Solo, Hoop, Zedar, Coot, Zinfar, Nightly Dietrich, Wie geht's? Qualinos, what's up, Cad? Dula69, nice. My dear old friend Keebs. Do what Zukin does and stream from a different PC so you only see specifically what you put on the screen. I mean, but that's the thing. I just put random shit on the screen. Sometimes it's not good. And guys, I've worked on high security games. The crappy game that I worked on in Hamburg, no offense to anybody that enjoyed the game or worked on it with me or worked on it over the years, they had a 10,000 euro a month ladder match for that game. So 10,000 euro a month ladder match, PvP game. Right? We had to pay out 10,000 euro every month to some winner. We'd have a little tournament once a month, right? And we had to deal with so much bullshit because of that. And then the last company I worked at was making online games for teens and tween girls, you know, so lots of, like, incredible security and working with third parties for security and working with the police for security, right? So it's just like, and here it's just, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm thinking of this too casually. In some regards, I understand security and I understand, like, but I also understand the internet. Like, good luck with it. But I find I find streaming to be it's already like, I enjoy hanging out with you guys. It's nice talking and stuff, but man, it's work. So, hey, Flintlock, Viro, Bill, Freak said, I'm over the whole be the first thing, but I really know how EQ2 had a website, like how EQ2 had a website to track those things. Yeah, and I don't want it to make it sound like it's not, you know, it's not fun or cool or whatever to discover stuff. We're hoping we pack a ton of discovery into the game. I just hope it's, you know, in the perfect world, and I don't know if we'll pull it off. I don't know if there's a way to pull it off, but in the perfect world, it's a game where if you spend enough time in here and you look around enough and you puzzle things out and you put in, you know, you put in reasonable effort and all that stuff, like it'd be so much radder if we could find a way for there naturally to be a layer of like leading edge players who are doing cool elite shit and it's worthwhile to them, and it's aspirational to the rest of the player base. Like, oh man, I would love to be doing that as well. You know, like going on expeditions or whatever. But it'd be rad if there's a lot of stuff that like just sort of your more average people can potentially discover over time, or figure out, or puzzle out, or have a decent experience with, or feel like they're contributing value to the community because of. Like, that kind of stuff would be really rad as well. Maybe that's a pipe dream, because otherwise it just kind of devolves into this like hyper focused, how do we learn everything we can about the game before the game comes out, so that we can push as hard as we can, so to perfect our strats, so that we can dominate and be number one. And it's like, it's a different vibe. I don't even know if we're gonna have enough game for that when we go into early access. Like, it'd be a different thing if the entire game was finished. There'd be a ton of shit, I guess, for you to do. But yeah, it's like, min-max all the fun out of it. Yeah, normally fans. Yeah, but whatever. Min-maxing is fun as long as you're having fun. Like, if you're, you know, and I'm not meaning to like chastise people like you, Lich. You know who you are. Like, if you're able to do that and sustain that, and then, if you're able to do that and sustain that, and like that's enjoyable to you, and you find that like that's a thing that can take you long term, right? And then you do it again with additional tunes or whatever, cool. But let's don't come back to us in like 3 months or 2 months after the game goes into early access and be like, oh, I found all the shit, I'm bored. I don't wish you would disappear that easily, Lich. Appreciate it, Amnesiac. Who else did I miss on the way in? Vanifac. Justin Beard, what's going on, buddy? Sinris. Flintlock Pixel. Casually East said, if you enjoy min-maxing, play the game how you want. Yeah, and again, hopefully my disclaimer covers that. I don't want any angry comments on the video. Hey, Checks. Like, if that's what you're into, definitely do it, but did you guys ever share stats from the April playtest? I just added them to the update today. So we've got an update coming out this week. It'll be out probably, yeah, realistically, because some people still need to give me some content for it. It'll be out probably Friday if I had to guess, because some people have sent some stuff over today, probably some more tomorrow. So it'll either be out tomorrow night, my time, or Friday. And it covers stats. I mean, I can give you a few of those if you're interested now. It's just a bonus for being here. Oh, and keep in mind, if you're new to the stream, the opinions expressed on this stream are strictly my own. If I rant or bitch or moan or whatever, that's just one perspective. Fortunately, we've got a well-rounded team of different opinions from different backgrounds with different priorities and different, you know, different things that they cherish, right? Like, we got some people on the team that are just complete maniac min-maxers. We got some people that are, you know, super casuals. We've got people that disappear for a week anytime a new server comes up somewhere. I'm just telling you my thoughts. So, you know, you go posting the shit on FOH or whatever, just keep that in mind. It's just my opinion. If you're like, that's the worst opinion, it's like, that may very well be true, but that's, you know, just because I have the worst opinions on some shit doesn't mean that that's the game necessarily. They get balanced out. And yet, despite varied opinions and approaches and all that stuff, levels of professionalism, we're still tracking. We're still pretty good on track in terms of like schedule and stuff like that. Somehow we're 32 different human persons, supposedly. It's just all AI. It's all ChatGPT. Have you ever seen Nick in real life? How do you know it's not ChatGPT? Have you ever seen Ollie in real life? Have you ever seen me in real life? Sean's the only human. The rest of us are AI. That's the twist. That's the M. Night Shyamalan of this whole plot. A loving robot's the only human. So Cushy, yeah, we had like 1,600 concurrents. I don't know that we posted the most that we had in a zone. I think it was like, I think Night Harbor was sitting at like 350 on Rel most of the time. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. Desserts got me sassy. I meant for that to be like a quiet burp, and it just came out like an 8-year-old goofing at McDonald's. Cushy said, I got to play a few hours of AOA with NDP yesterday. That guy is so wholesome. Thanks for turning me on to him. It really is. He sent me a DM, and it's just honestly the most wholesome. Let me actually. Nick's trying to cover now. Nick's trying to act like he's not ChatGPT by saying that he's seen me drink liquids before. Though I guess I do have a camera on my computer. What was I doing? Oh, I wanna go look at Fallen Pass. Nick said, correction, liquids that I've given him to drink. You need to watch out. It's not Friday. Dang, no alert on my phone. I missed 18 minutes of something. What did you say? Because I just saw the smartass response to it that Vanifact posted. Who? Where? No alert on your phones. Okay. Yes, just your average 18 minutes of incomprehensible ranting. I see how you feel about the stream. What else am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to actually sit here and pretend to work? Impress you with my my working abilities. We already know that's not gonna fly. No one's gonna believe that shit. Let me check out this zone. Since we've got to spend hours together, I might as well attempt to do something. Jeez. Checking out Falling Pass. I'm gonna go boulder shrinking. I'm just boulder shrinking tonight. That's all I'm gonna do for a couple hours. Typical management. Are you calling me management? COD? I don't know what's going on with this generation of like people that we're bringing in. The first crew of guys we brought in have been working on the game for like 3 years or 4 years, going on 4 years. I was just looking at that as I was kind of like going through the Slack management to pull dates to kind of see who came on the team in the last 2 months for the update. And it's like the first generation, the OGs have been here for years and years. You new guys, you guys aren't lasting very long. Calling me typical management, COD? What's that supposed to mean? Well, as I as I once said to a girl that I was explaining why I wasn't I didn't want to date her. If you can't figure that one out, then that's exactly why you don't need to be here. Actually, that's not exactly what I said to her. No, COD's doing good stuff. I'm sassy because tomorrow's a bank holiday, so it's kind of like Friday for me. No, it was, and you know, I don't know. Take this how you will. Maybe it'll make me sound like a bad person. But I told her, I said, and I'll just use a name. I'll be like, I was on the phone with her back when the phones all had cords and stuff. And she had called me from a friend's house. The girl that I wanted to date, but didn't date for very long. And then I briefly dated this girl. And I told her, I said, Sally? And I was like, I don't know, man. I was like 15, 16. I was like, Sally, I only like to date girls of a certain intellectual capacity. And unfortunately, you're not there. And she said, okay. And then she hung up. And then she called back like 5 minutes later, mad. And she was like, are you calling me stupid? And I was like, did it take 5 minutes? Did it take Barbara 5 minutes to explain that to you? Because that was the other girl. It's like, did it take Barbara 5 minutes to explain that to you? I was just laughing. And then Barbara was laughing in the background as well. Her friend was laughing. Because she was like, they're probably like, you know how I used to do 2 years on the phone? And then she was mad at Barbara, and then they hung up, and then we talked later. It was fine. I met them all at spring break. I met them and several other girls that I briefly dated in high school at a McDonald's spring break. It was one of those mornings where you wake up and you know, grab some food and then kick off your day of adventure. Panama City Beach. And it was all these girls that I dated at the same McDonald's hanging out. And I walked up and they said, hey, you found us, the Sean Lord Hate Club. And it's true. They actually did say that. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I was the worst kid. COD, I'm not breaking up with you. Even if I wanted to break up with you, COD, I couldn't break up with you in this manner on stream like that. I would get like 50 DKP minus from Ali and Nick. Hey, Wickersloth. I need to text you instead? No. That's not how we do it. Panama City is like one of the prettiest beaches in the country. Panama City was very cool to be a teenager near. I lived about an hour north of that in Alabama. I have to call him on the rotary phone. Yeah, we only fire people via rotary phone. Wallen Pass. 25 minutes into it. I did not see your comment, Dark Inside. Dark Inside said, hello, just picked up my new gaming laptop, but it's not top of the line, but I got it brand new for free. How did you get it for free? Did you boost it? Sarenth, how are you doing? This is international connection from Sean. Would you like to accept the charges? Yeah, that's not the best call. Government funding? What does that mean? Isn't the new hotline on a red rotary phone? I don't know that it's rotary. You think it's still rotary? We had some interesting phones in a office that I worked in for a while when I was stationed in DC. I think that's about as far as I can go in describing them. I could just say we had some interesting phones. How did this game get to be so pretty? Just iterations. It's just iterations, and over time we're kind of like that, what's that, Parasite? If you have cats, you get it? Hey, Encrypt. Toxoplasmosis, that's right. We're like the toxoplasmosis of MMOs. You just hang around long enough. Work into your brain. A couple of them are on display at the Jimmy Carter Library. I forgot where the other one is. I bet there's probably one in the Smithsonian. Smithsonian's a really cool museum to visit. Or I guess there's more than one Smithsonian, right? Frank Bean said, so last night on P99, a group of my friends in a small new guild killed a mini boss in Plane of Hate. We were told by like the largest guild on the server that we broke raid rules by doing it with only 5 people instead of 7+, not a raid, and they petitioned us. What do you think of the Lawyer Quest game? Is this what Brad intended 25 years later? I don't know what Brad intended, to be honest. I have no idea. I think Brad just wanted to make a cool game that was kind of like a fantasy world / game, I guess. But I mean, I have no idea what his intent was, or Steve's intent, or Bill's intent, or Smed's intent. I think things just kind of evolve when you make something like this, it evolves beyond you, right? Like, but what do I think about? What do I think of the Lawyer's Quest game? I mean, it's just humans, right? It's just, you know, like it's a pretty broad topic. Maybe one day it'll be studied. And, you know, MMOs are just like strange sociological experiments. Do we see Eminem having a future of raid rules outside of what the game enforces? I think it's very possible. The degree to which we get involved, I mean, will be a topic that we've got to really kind of look at. But I mean, if we're lucky, there's all sorts of weird ass like etiquette and convention and rules and stuff. Hopefully, it makes the experience more interesting for folks, or ideally better. But you know, at the end of the day, like, I think we'll probably wind up in some interesting conversations as a team with regards to what, you know, what we sort of, where we land with regards to acceptability on certain things, and we may have to hash that out as a team or debate or whatever. But I mean, the general approach is essentially, you know, because you can get super into the technicalities, and you've got players citing your rules back to you, and like trying to read the legal text of what you've written in a way where it's like strong interpretation, and then it's like, well, but you're wrong about your own rules. And I think, you know, there's the general intent of, like, I think Simon kind of says it best, is just like, don't be a dick, right? Like, and it's the internet, so that's a real hard one to actually live up to or whatever. But Nick said, Frank, I think it's good that raid rules have been established on P99, but a few of them are heavy-handed, and that specific scenario seems really contrary to the spirit of the game. Of course, being a dick is on a spectrum too. Yeah, I mean, every you know, a lot. I don't want to say everything, because there's plenty of stuff that's just fairly black and white. But there's a lot of that stuff where it's like, you know, it's like, come on, guys, you know the intent. And it's a weird balance, right? Because on one hand, when the game goes live, the game, because of the fact that you guys are putting, you know, you're paying month to month, and you're investing your time and excitement and energy and word of mouth and everything into the game, right? Like, then the game, in a way, it, you know, it belongs to you as a community as well as us, as, I mean, it's our game. But I think that, you know, it's a tough balance, because again, like I said at the beginning of the stream, like, I'll say shit that the team won't necessarily agree with. I'm just giving you my old ass opinion on stuff. I think there can be a danger when the team starts to relinquish, like, you go too far into the customer is always right, and it's like, no, sometimes customer's just wrong, you know. And sometimes it's better for everybody if the owner of the game goes, you know what, man, at the end of the day, this is still our house, right? Like, so you can try to lawfare us with our own rules or whatever, or go, you know, start a stink on whatever online forum is your favorite. But at the end of the day, it's like, especially in our case, if people are sort of surprised by something that happens on our end later, I'll be very curious to see what that is, because I think we've been real consistent. We, you know, we all have our various personalities and approaches or whatever, but we've been a pretty consistent team. And if someone's like, I can't believe Sean said that, I'll be like, really? There's like 600 videos of dumb shit that I've said over the last like 5 years, and all of a sudden it's like, I can't believe that GM said something I just don't agree with. Like, first of all, I'm not a GM, dumbass. Like, So, sorry. I didn't mean to hypothetically in this scenario call anybody a dumbass. I was channeling my grandmother. Rest in peace. She loved calling people dumbasses. It's very effective. Feindor said, game looks solid so far. I'm set on being there for launch. That is, sorry, I was just reading something else. But Feindor, you were, I thought we were talking in a stream recently. But when you say it that way, it almost sounds like you just discovered the game. But I thought we were just talking the other day. Heard you're showing trolls today. I wish if we had trolls, I'd show you one, but we don't have a troll. Unfortunately for you, Zukin likes lizardmen a lot more than he likes trolls. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, it's interesting. I had to have a back and forth with somebody from the community recently, and the individual made several comments saying that I used PR speak, and I was like, kept saying I was trying to PR talk them. I'm like, dude, I'm not a PR speaker. I was just being professional, because when it hits that point where we've got to like actually talk, then I'm going to try to be as professional as possible. But hey, Simon. Painter said, yes, it is me. Didn't really expect you to remember me being here. Just wanted to express my continued interest. Oh, no. I remember the name. It's a cool name. So I was like, wait a second. Hey, John Crichton. Magic Man, who I just keep reading as Magic Mike, said, channel your inner Red Foreman more. The world needs to be called out. Yeah, you know what? God. If it wasn't a 30-person team, I would probably be way more unfiltered on stream. But ever since this whole thing escalated from just being like, 3-4 of us to being real. The potential of Pinocchio being a real boy, all of a sudden I've had to like, I feel like I gotta rein it in a little bit just to be fair to the team. Viper said, this is why I think rage should be instance. I'd like there to be no instancing, but for the sake of fairness, save people being dicks. Instance raids make it easy. It is easier. It's easy, but the question is it the best vibe? Is it right? Right? We'll have a lot of those discussions even as we're going towards EA. There's certain things that are like, for many reasons they're better, but then for other reasons it's not the right vibe, right? So it's a challenge. It's a challenge. It's one of those things where if you're a content creator making videos about MMOs, it would be easier for you to point to those things and go, the best way to make this is to do this. But if you're making an MMO and you're trying to make one with like a particular vibe, then you got to do some, you don't have to. But our belief is there's some stuff that's maybe not as intuitive. No, that's not right. There's some stuff that's like maybe counterintuitive that we're doing that we're like, but we feel like this this helps create the feel. And then, then the question is, but for whom? Because the feel may not be the feel that everybody wants, and I think that's fair. But again, we've also been pretty honest about that as well. How long have you guys been following Legends of Old? Looks pretty far along for the size of the community. I never heard of it until you mentioned it yesterday. Not gonna lie, I'm reasonably excited for it. You should be excited for it. Here, let me. I've got on one of my tabs. Here, let me find this. This is what we're talking about here. Legends of Old. That's an interview with Eric Baroni. Baroni, Stardew Valley, Haunted Chocolatier. I was listening to that interview earlier. Need to finish it. These guys, I mean, we've been checking them out. I think Nick and Ollie probably played it a couple years ago. I think it's been a couple years now. But yeah, definitely give them support. It's two people working on it. Eric Barone, right? I said Baroni, but it's because I've been living in Germany, and if you put an E at the end of something, you gotta pronounce it. That's my excuse, at least. But yeah, so definitely check it out. I think that, you know, they don't have the hugest community yet, so every little bit of support you show them is like well appreciated, and I think it's a cool one to check out. So it's like old school MMO but co-op, right? Like if you were to take, it's like Aaron Shore, am I saying it right? Is like single player MMO, old school MMO, and then Legends of Old is like co-op version of that. It was originally single player, and then they added co-op, and then there's the MMOs, which we'll see over time how many of the old school MMOs by the time they go live are like old school. I asked Pattis if it was okay if I played around with these rocks. I've been staring at these rocks for like a year now, and I'm like, and it's just, I don't want it to say it in a way that sounds mean or whatever, but they were bugging me because they were like, I'm like, why is it right there? Why are these all? Because we don't have any lore for like a rock explosion, so I figure I'll just do this for the next couple of hours. I'll just make rocks smaller. Jenna pronounced Rel as Rel E yesterday. Did she get it right? And I've been wrong this whole time? No, Rel is Rel. Well, we have a pronunciation guide in Confluence because I can't keep up. We're powering through this stuff. Like, we're making the game pretty fast. So there's a lot of stuff that needs to get made at my age, despite the creatine trying to help my brain. It's real easy to make up a name and then forget it. Dwarven King, Barney, next. What was the Dwarven King's name again? I don't remember. Quick shout out to Swanee85 here in chat. Swanee's been doing some nice web tooling for us for you know, just like interfacing with our database and looking up data and stuff, along with all the stuff they did for the CS, the customer service tooling and all of that, prior to and during the playtest, and that stuff's really good. It's like, it's one of those unsung hero kind of positions, right? Because it's like, it's not something we really, I don't know that we'll ever show you, because it's too easy for us to show you something we shouldn't show you, with like customer service tools and stuff. But like that type of stuff is, believe it or not, it adds up really quick and goes a long way. It's very helpful. It helps speed us up in a number of ways. New ground texture, yeah, it's all new textures, but we still need to come in here and like actually spin some. These were put in pretty quickly before the playtest, so we still need to come in here and yeah, just take a look around and see what's working, what's not, and kind of get the zone to a more kind of ready for EA state. Hey, Telsmere. You guys realize when we go into early access that we'll still be like updating some of these zones and fixing stuff and doing some broader passes on things, right? Yeah, because I can see them texture stretching. Hey, don't talk about our stretchy textures. We don't need you in here calling us out. Dark inside. Shouldn't you be playing on your stolen laptop right now? What's the first game you're going to play on your stolen laptop? It's not stolen? I don't... Schedule 1, that's a good one to play. It's from government. I don't understand what that means. First of all, I forgot. I thought you were in the UK, Dark Inside. How does your government still have enough money to buy you a laptop? No, Canada. Same thing, really. It's difficult for people to play a game and not think it's complete, just like we can equate 99 cents and $1 is equal. Well, we're going to put it, we'll just have a splash screen anytime you're logging in during early access saying, this game is in early access. Some things may change. We may make the textures less stretchy at some point, but don't count on it. People our age should be used to stretch marks. What are you trying to say? I feel personally attacked. Because I have a disability, so I get a bunch of funding every year for things like going to Comic Cons or baseball games or stuff like laptops or TVs. Hey man, you know what? Right on. I'm stoked you have I'm stoked you got a laptop out of the deal. What's up, Magnus? The more I listen to Dungeon Crawler Carl, the sassier I feel like I'm getting just in general, like in real life. I feel like my mind's been taken over by the AI. I really like the AI so far. The AI is pretty aspirational. Sean was about to say I'm stoked you're on disability. I wasn't going to say that. But I got awkward, didn't I? I probably did get awkward. I'm like, well then good for you. I don't know. I didn't want to pry. But Darius, you throw something like that out here, it's because again, this is the challenge with streaming. Like real life me would probably have something witty to say. Brain just froze. Just started book 2. It's such a great series. I can't wait. Once we wrap up book 7, I think we'll both be like listening to it independently all over again. Swanee, you don't have to read this book. You just listen to it. It's better if you listen to it. It is. I don't think I would ever read the book, but I will listen to it. We'll probably listen to this series many times in the coming years. Dark Inside said, it's okay, I'm used to being picked on for having a learning disability. I'm not one to easily get offended. Buddy, I don't know the degree of appropriateness of me saying anything in either direction, positive or negative or whatever. But I would say, you're clearly... how do I say it? Like, you don't seem too disabled to me. You come in here and bust balls all the time. Like, seem to have all the tools you need in life. But not to take away from your experience or whatever. Just walk away. I can't. I'm here. Cool, they have programs for that. In my state, there's a program to assist those with disabilities with equipment to help on job site. I once briefly dated a girl that did like special custom equipment for... She was deaf, and she did it like... would get called into like random workplaces to try to figure out how to assist like people with hearing disabilities. So like modified police radios, all sorts of other shit. I've learned Sean has dated lots of women. I mean a few. I'm a people person. Hey, Dasava. There's so many rocks. Fall Pass unexpectedly became my favorite place to wander around in the last test. Was awesome. Dude, there's a lot of stuff in here. Oh shit. I need to come up. I forgot this was a whole area. Dark Inside said, I joke around because I know if you can't take it, don't dish it out. Yeah, you know. Breck says, I know this is way off topic, but are you more of a Star Trek or Star Wars guy? Any reference to pop culture in the game? No reference to pop culture in the game. It's like WoW really nailed that. So there's no need for us to do it. Star Trek or Star Wars. I would have to say, if I'm being honest, I was more of a Star Wars kid growing up. None of the recent stuff. I don't really give a shit about any of the recent stuff. And then like what would if I had to sit down and like really go deep, it would be, I'd probably, like, if I could just sit down and like blast through all the original Star Trek, I'd be down with that. If I had infinite time, I would love to sit around with Jasmine and watch all the Star Trek. All of it. All the way up until it hits like a weird point. Until, like, I probably wouldn't watch it, most of the modern stuff. Because it's, you know, I don't know. I'm kind of like, I like, I don't mind my fiction having real, I don't mind my, how am I supposed to do this? I don't mind certain fiction referencing other fiction. I just don't like it when fiction starts to reference the real world too much. Though I do like fiction that references like pulp type topics and, you know, like old school conspiracies and shit like that. That I'm into. Brookstorm Honorblade says, for what it's worth, I've been playing a wide variety of games recently, and it's always exciting to hear people mentioning or chatting about Eminem. All positive. Hey, that's super cool. That's great to hear. Appreciate you mentioning it as well. Yeah, we have no idea. We have no idea like what to expect later as we get into EA. So, oops, it'll be it's gonna be an interesting year or two. Dark Inside said, Sean, you must watch Picard. It was really good. Might have to give it a shot at some point. Nick said I had a high score on the next generation pinball machine as a kid and the vacation spot we frequented. My dad, dude. My dad was such a fan of pinball when we had the skate park. We had a contract with the local, like the, there's like a local arcade machine type place. They brought us a jukebox and they brought us, they would rotate like every month or two. They'd bring in a couple pinball machines, and we had them over in the corner of the skate park. My dad would just go over there and play pinball nonstop. Always grew up around pinball because the old man. Burger Chan says, my dad repairs pinball machines as a hobby. Has so many of them in various states of playability. Oh, that's awesome. Dadvik said, Sean is a pinball wizard. It's all in the pelvis. Pinball is very pelvis oriented. Nick said, I miss that. I get sad going back to the same vacation spot and the game rooms are either gone or downsized for the most part. Yeah, I could see that. It's gotta be interesting going back to some place that you've been around like your whole life. I'm trying to think you know, a friend of mine who's now more of an acquaintance than anything, like, he would always want to go back to where we came from in Alabama. And like, I don't know, I think he really liked being like the, you know, the cool guy that escaped Alabama and now he's coming back to hold court and stuff. I couldn't give a shit. Like, I only went back when somebody was dying. That was about it. Or if we just happen to be on a road trip kind of popping through there or something. And so I don't have a lot of that, like, going back to places and being like, oh man, this used to be, you know, and like kind of, you know, potentially getting bummed out that the arcade's not there anymore or my favorite spot's not there or whatever. I just grew up moving around so much as just kind of a... When's the Monsters and Memories pinball machine coming? If you guys could somehow make us popular enough, long enough, and I mean, you know, it doesn't have to be huge, but like, if you could, if we somehow end up at a point where we could have a pinball machine, I think that would be it. That's the final boss. You loved Alabama when you visited? Surprised you? I thought it was all rednecks. What's wrong with rednecks? It's my people. It's funny, when I was a kid, I was always like, man, I can't wait to get out of here. I'm going to go to somewhere cool. You know, I'm going to go live in a city. Now it's like, you know what we do for fun? Jasmine and I will be listening to like Dungeon Crawler Carl in bed. And we'll be listening intently. And I'm scrolling through Zillow, just highlighting properties. Just going through, showing Jasmine, looking at the pictures, highlighting properties. And they are all in the middle of nowhere. It's like, the filter is like nothing less than 20 acres. All Montana, Wyoming, Idaho. That's like the Christmas catalog. That's the Sears Christmas catalog for... It's the new Gen X Christmas catalog. Thank you, you shoes. I'm glad you noticed my attention, my loving touch on these boulders. You're literally browsing Zillow while watching the stream? Cushy, what state? What are you looking for? You always knew I was a cowboy? I mean, I'm probably more, at this point, I'm probably more of a redneck than a cowboy. Let's be real. But I could get along with cowboys. You need a horse farm? You have 3 horses? Oh, that's badass. We want goats. That's true. Zukin did have the howdy. Howdy. Frickin' internet. Hopefully Zukin doesn't have any of those things that have me doing anything weird. Brother has goats in suburban New Jersey. I could see that. Yeah, I mean, we don't need a bunch of space for the goats. The goats are extra. Burger Chan said something earlier. I missed it. Virtual pinball machine for M&M. You have to grind out levels before you can get into Worm's Bane. Multi-ball happens when you trigger a train. Oh my god, that would be a perfect train. Burger Chan, that's brilliant. If we ever make a pinball machine, you've activated a train, and it's just like all the balls drop out. Multi-ball madness. Okay, cool. This is here, so that's not gonna... You want a full-fledged goblin casino? Dude, I would love nothing more than if we could convince Ollie to hire on somebody that does just nothing but mini games. Just nothing but mini games. Mini game person. But you know what the problem will be? If we were to do that, then like boats will be broken, or someone won't like, you know, someone will be like pissed off about the implementation of charm or something, and they'll be all on the forum like, apparently these guys prioritize making all these mini games. They should have just fixed their freaking game. Blah 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 blah. It's like, man, can we not have anything nice? We just wanted a goblin casino and some poker tables in the tavern, and here you are ruining it for everybody. Chungus 69. Fix your freaking game. The cool part is you already know it's coming, so it's not like it's like, oh, I wonder what's gonna... There's no mystery. Eventually the honeymoon will be over and you guys are gonna be like, you're gonna be coming in here. I see you playing with boulders and being a smartass, but what I don't see is you fixing the game. I paid $15. Duelist 69, don't change your name to Chunkus 69. You're perfect as you are. The trick is to read all negative comments in the voice of Dale Gribble from King of the Hill. If I could do voices, I would. Don Vesper says, why is this guy moving rocks around when I can't even log in? Exactly. That's why the game's dying. That's Rusty Shackleford to you. I love man, I wish I could do voices. If I could do voices, then I would feel like it's a worthy stream. I don't even know why you people are here, to be honest. Please don't make Eminem goblins cheap. WoW goblins blocks. How can we do that? With you on the team, I mean, we run most goblin stuff by you, Goblin. We don't take for granted that we have an actual goblin on the team. King Boo! Thank you for the follow. Broken Stoic, thank you for following again. I don't know, it unfollows people sometimes. Oh, the latest WoW, the latest raid in WoW was a Goblin Casino? Aha. Yeah, I didn't get the reference. I watched your video that you recommended about Mega Man, Goblin. Some of it I agree with. Some of it I mean, I mostly agree with it. But then there's other stuff where I'm like, meh. Again, the difference between YouTube content creating and actual make gaming. That's how you say it. But the video is a little active for me. I had to 2x it to get through. Good information, just there was a lot of silliness. Hey, Quicksana. I don't have it up anymore, Keith. It was the sequel something. Sequelitis, yes. We'll have to, I guess we'll have to discuss like rock texture when we come in here. Because I'm still trying to figure out like where did they come from? I would assume they are like embedded in the sandstone, and then over time as stuff broke they fell out. Hey, thanks, Chex. Okay, yeah, let's talk about them. Because they're being used to break up the space in some places in a way that's like, okay, cool, that works. But just generally speaking, you know what? I'm not even going to ask you the question, because then if you answer the right way, then what'll wind up happening is then it'll negate the one thing that I wanted to do on stream tonight. I was going to ask, after we discuss the rocks, do you think they'll still be here, Goblin? Or am I just killing time right now? Which... Because what I'm trying to do is just make them less obvious. Right? I'm just trying to make them like little boulders in the road, which is easy. I feel like there's something that that Harrison was trying, but then it's mighty fine rocks you got there, son. Be a shame if something were to happen to him. Yeah, but if they're not these rocks, then that means we're deleting the rocks and replacing them. And if we're replacing them, then it's a lot of... It's like, how much are we replacing? Like, how much are we investing? So I'm gonna keep the ones that are kind of ground level. I'm gonna shrink a lot of them down. Oops. And then, I don't know, maybe we can retexture them or something. You know, just some little sticky uppers. Some little ground guys that are sticking up, little goonies. Yeah, you did get an accent. I'm saying I'm not good at them, but I mean, I can do some accents. Like, I don't mind doing kind of a country accent, because I'm, in a sense, I'm a bit country. As the song says. Kinji, moin moin, wie geht's, mein Herr? Oh, there's that guy from the sign videos on YouTube. What's his name? Not Joey. It's... Oh, man. But he does the signs. He's... Tony from China. We're sitting there, and Tony... This guy's like, he does YouTube videos advertising the sign shop that he works at that's like in China. And he does incredible accents. He did a Donald Trump speaking German, and Jasmine's mind like melted. She watched it like 3 times, just kind of like, it was like watching our puppy stare at like a piece of cheese that you're almost about to give him. He just like the head cocking. It's like, what a combo. To speak in German as a different character that doesn't speak German. Wild. Yeah, Shane Gillis's Trump is pretty freaking funny. I said, don't cry. Oh man. Man, the internet. Goblin, are you around Slack? Can we type on the other screen for a moment? It's not trouble. Encrypt. You're another one of the new guys that we've got to keep an eye on. Hey Kinji. How am I today? Pretty good. Came in on a little bit of a sugar high. Had some pastries and coffee before I came in. Dude, I told Jasmine earlier today that I was in a bakery buying some lunch for us the other day, and there was just a wall of breads behind there, and it's like this giant wall of different breads. And I realized, I was like, each one of those breads is different for a reason. It's not like they weren't like, hey, let's just make this one round, and this one's going to be kind of like shaped like a caterpillar or whatever. Like there's probably a reason for why that bread is that way. Like there's some history there. It's probably got different flavor. And I told her that because we don't know, you never know when we're gonna move back or move to the States or whatever. I told her, I was like, my new mission is to eat all of the different breads. Like I've just got to start eating way more bread. I may have to do more cardio, but I definitely want to eat more bread. Just so I can look back on this time and realize I didn't miss my opportunity. I had one shot. I had one shot to eat all the breads. Did not report it, but the zone line on the beach northwest side was broken, by the way. Thanks, Chaz Solo. Yeah, we've got to go through. There's a handful of zone lines that are still bjorked. Your wife's made some really good bread? Is she doing like the sourdough thing? Jasmine started up on a sourdough thing not too long ago. I was pretty impressed as well. Bajorked, not bajerned. Yes, there is a difference, Lithava. Yeah, I'll send you a screenshot. Tell me where, Goblin. Here, I'll give you this one real quick. Closer, a bit lower. European bread is next level. Yeah, if we move to if I ever won the lottery or whatever, I think whatever little town in the middle of nowhere like Montana that we moved to, we'd have to purchase some Germans and bring them over. Some Germans capable of baking bread, and bring them over and have them open a German bakery in our town. Like Operation Paperclip, but for bakeries. Shh. Stop that. Kalispell, Montana's dream for me, right next to Glacier. I'm worried about indentured Germans. Damn. And that was what, like, this is the stream that goes off the rails and finally gets us, like, the community's firmly divided. In Deutschland. If you won the lottery, would you make Eminem free to play, but keep it how it is, or keep it how it is now? Legit. You want a real answer to that, Thadvik? Say I won like I won 500 million in the lottery. In that instance, we would fully fund the company, meaning everybody that could work on the game full time would be made full time. We would continue the same approach in terms of business model and stuff like that. Might as well, you know, we'd probably grab some outsourcing to help the guys out a bit. And then we would roll into EA is, yeah, it wouldn't be free to play. We'd roll into EA as, you know, like solid as we could, but we'd go into EA still, just so you guys don't have to wait, you know, another couple years or whatever. We'd be doing it for you. Hey, Quatos. And then basically just let it roll and try to make it a good company, and so that the team has a company that they can continue to build and grow and all that stuff. And then I would disappear because I just won $500 million. I would check in with you guys every once in a while. Nah, I'd probably still hang out. Just from a compound. You'd also buy the rights to make the DCC MMO, right? Again, I don't, like, I just think rather than buy the rights, wouldn't it be cool to, like, I'd buy Matt Dinneman. That's his name, right? Is it Dinneman? I'd buy Matt Dinneman like dinner. I'd be like, hey, would you want to go out? Like, I'll buy you dinner. Let's talk. And then if he likes us and we like him, then we would see if we can make the game for him. Wonder how much EverQuest IP would cost to buy. Yeah, there's definitely some IPs that would probably we'd try to add to the NWC portfolio for you guys. Do like a Vanguard preservation thing. It'd be nice to buy some of those old. Games, and then set them up so that they're just preserved forever. DCC MMO game, hardcore only. I pitched a MMO in like 2005, and the name of the MMO is Survive. And there's actually some striking similarities. And it was something where it was constantly spinning up new servers, like for people that were eliminated. right? But it was like on a set time. It's kind of like pool respawn. It was permadeath. And it was about like how far did you make it in each season essentially. And it had a lot of rule variability, and shit like that. But it wasn't. Well, I guess there are certain aspects of it, but yeah. So it was interesting. I found out that my old boss's boss. I found out that my old boss's boss repitched that same game that I'd pitched to them after I got laid off. And they still didn't make it, which is good, but I mean, it's like ideas are a dime a fucking dozen, right? Like that's the thing you'll notice when people like first get into the industry. They're like, I got my idea, I don't want to show you anybody my idea. Like every once in a while, and I'm not picking on anybody, but like every once in a while, since we've started this, there'd be people that'd be like, hey, I've got this great idea, but I'm afraid to tell you because then, you know, like, yeah, I don't want someone else to do it. And I'm just like, it's going to be so rare that the idea is the thing. It's about execution. I mean, maybe there's something brilliant that's once it's out, it's like, oh shit, someone stole that. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, then you even see games that they're pretty similar, but it's the nuances, right? It's like the tiny little details. And some of it, you know, I'm not even talking about like market success because some of that's timing and luck and other shit. But like, you know, just the difference between like an APB versus GTA 5 or something. Did you see the video of the guy who actually had a fully original idea, and whenever he would tell someone, they would die after hearing it because they couldn't understand or handle it? No. Is that a thing? APB all points bulletin. Had so much fun designing custom graffiti in APB. Yeah, and then there's also like the full digital audio workshop. Wait, is Quatos just learning about Dungeon Crawler Carl? Hire doers, not dreamers. Hire bothers. Quato said, I learned about it last time I was here when you guys, when it was Book Talk stream. Oh, okay, cool. You gotta listen to the audiobook. I'm gonna click the link, but then I'm going to hit pause. So I can watch it later. Okay, it's a short as well. My favorite link. So it's weird, like Dungeon Crawler Carl, it's like everybody's just, anybody watching the VOD at this point is just like, will you stop about this book? But it really is, it's like it's essentially, it's a horror novel, but it's also very funny. But it's also very heartwarming. Some former SOE guys worked on APB. I mean, it wasn't, they weren't the only ones, but some of the guys, cause it was out of, was it Real Time Worlds or whatever? In like, Scotland, I think? Wasn't it in Scotland? Also, Game Defiance is back. An indie company bought the rights from NCSoft, completely turned the game around. Yeah, I saw videos and stuff about it being back. That was also some Sony Online guys that worked on Defiance. Tony worked on it. I thought some other folks. I think Hartzman was there for a bit. Yeah, I can't speak to the quality of the game, but it's just, I think no matter what the game's like, you know, it was going to suffer from the fact that that was the transmedia era. You know how everything's like AI now and everything's like, we got to do, you know, every company's got to like mention AI, and then it was like blockchain before that. There was this period where everything was transmedia. Everything was going to be, we're going to make a game and a book and a TV series and another game and all this stuff, and it's all going to be coordinated at once. Despite the fact that they're on very different like development sort of like timelines. And why did I forget something? I think something had been successful doing that somehow, and so then they were all like, that's the thing that we've got to do, guys. M&M needs more blockchain, specifically NFT hats and AI generated hats. If you send me enough Monero, then I'll get with the team and potentially consider sending you an NFT hat. I think while having the RTS games as a foundation was massive. Yeah, it's huge. I mean, you got like what? By the time it came out, what was it, 10 or 11 years of IP build up. You got a company with people that knew how to make games even if they hadn't made an MMO before. A lot of games nowadays don't ever expand on their IP other than one type of game. Yeah, so on the flip side, the transmedia thing over time is not a bad idea if you've got the right audience and you've got the right ability to deliver on it. So don't get me wrong. It's starting from the beginning with the idea that you're going to do all this shit at once is a bit crazy, but I still believe like the last company I was at, it was such an interesting opportunity for them to do the various verticals that they did, right? You know, Star Stable books, along with the music that they had. So they had like a music vertical, publishing vertical, and the game vertical. And if you knew the other ideas they had for the IP or the IPs that they were developing behind the scenes that I still haven't seen, so that's kind of sad. But if I was still there, then we'd be rocking that stuff, and it would be amazing. I think they could that company could have just been so big. They had some really cool stuff behind the scenes, but I don't know that's ever going to see the light of day now. Which is a shame. Ultra Piss didn't believe us when we were talking about the horse game. I read a thing. Let me find it, so I can read it out, so it doesn't sound like Star Stable purchased. They got in trouble with the EU recently, I guess. It sounded like, allegedly. I don't know. Just because, you can make in-app purchases and it's targeted at kids. Star Stable acquired. They're horsing around too much. Yep. So this is from 2021. Nordisk Games increases its investment to become the majority shareholder. So they bought, as of this announcement in 2021, they owned 57% of it. If this number is accurate, then it doubled during COVID and then doubled again according to this. So it's an interesting number. I have no way of validating it. But they said each month more than 1.4 million players from 180 countries. 180 countries part that I've seen. But they were at 450,000 monthly active users while I was there. During COVID, they hit 700,000 monthly active users. And in this press release, November of 2021, they said 1.4 million. But I know they had also released the mobile versions. Maybe that's what caused the uptick. So if they had 1.4 million monthly active users, that was on an MMO, because this is an MMO. That was for an MMO that at that point was 11 or 12 years old. And so that means they grew a game from a few, like, tens of thousands of Swedish girls playing this MMO back in like 2011, I think. Yeah, 2011. They grew it at that point for 10 years linearly, and at that point, I mean, that's exponential growth. How many other MMOs have 1.4 million monthly active users? Let alone MMOs that you haven't heard of? Honest question, I don't know. Is there a dozen? Less than a dozen? 10? 5? So with those kind of numbers, you could get an office and 3 pinball machines. Yeah, you could absolutely get 3 pinball machines. If they're mobile users, it'd be interesting to know. Seems like a different market. Yeah, I'd be curious to see how many of them are mobile. But I know that the 450,000 were PC with like next to some girls were playing on the Mac, but with like next to no support. So even that, and I know that the 700,000 was before mobile was out. So even there, that's decent. Let's see. I'm gonna look at what Goblin sent over. So Goblin, that'll wind up being. Let me go back and look. That'll wind up being. Not that I'm disagreeing with you at all. That'll wind up being different assets. Which is fine. I think we still keep some like boulders, some little ground knobbers. Just so that we've got some stuff on the ground. We also need some little grasses and stuff poking up. This screenshot is not for the update. This screenshot is just one that Goblin whipped together really quick so we could visualize something. Toon John said, just wanted to say I loved the open test a few weeks back. Can't wait to play again. Hey, appreciate you stopping in here to say that. How did you find out about the test? And it sounds like it was your first experience. Separo said my guild wants to play test more too. We're chomping at the bit. Toon John said my best buddy is a huge Classic EQ fan and got me into more hardcore MMOs as someone who missed it back then. Why did you miss it? Did you were playing something else? Were you too young? Goblin. So, but in that case, we'd be replacing all of these, right? Or would we be leaving some of these little guys? Do we put a different texture on them? Toon John said, just too young in those days. He was too, but had older brothers and got in on the goods. Nice. I'm really, you know, again, this is my earlier rant and a disclaimer. I'm speaking strictly from my own personal take. I'm not saying this is the team's take on anything. I'm just really hoping for kind of two things to happen. One, we get enough of you guys that come in that really just like the journey in a way where you don't like, and it's human nature to find a path of least resistance, but like don't just like find a path of least resistance and sort of blow through and then be kind of like, done, I'm bored. And then on the flip side, so that's the you part. Hopefully you there's enough yous out there that come in and are like, I mean, I like being in this place. I want to, like find ways to be a part of like this environment, this community, um, and grind and, but not like just stressing on making the number go up as fast as possible. On the flip side, it would be really nice if we put enough interesting shit in there for you to find and explore and to make that worthwhile and make like, we keep talking about the journey, make the journey actually something that's interesting. Um, so Goblin, how quick do you think we can get a versatile asset up that will allow us to replace this? Because there is a lot of like, this is helping. These are, this is naturally bigger than it looks. So a lot of these are really helping break line of sight and eat up some of this floor space. Right? So because if we came in here right now and just like, well, that's going to do bad things when I do it, but no, I don't want you to make. You don't have to make the asset right now. I'm just what I'm thinking ahead to is like over the next, in the coming weeks. One of the things that I wanted to do is, like I think I've mentioned in Slack a couple times, like Nick, Bjorn, me, run through zones and start like kind of seeing with essentially the three of us tend to have the most availability like consistently, and other people are working on other stuff that we want to make sure we keep on schedule. And so it's like we're going to put a strike team together to kind of run through all of the existing zones to be like, does it have new textures? Do we want to do something with these textures? Like, is it we do a color shift here, blah, blah, blah. But that would be like pinging you, bringing you in to be like, hey, like you just did with the rocks, like, can you concept these different rocks and blah, blah, blah. And in some cases, it may be helpful. It's like, hey, can you make the asset? Or is that something that Bjorn's going to make and you're going to retexture? Or do we go to somebody else? And then each zone that we go into, we'll make sure that the person that worked on the zone's aware that we're in the zone, so they can have input and they've got visibility on what we're doing. Like in this case, we can ping Pattis, but I've already told Pattis, I was like, is your heart like really attached? Are you stuck on those rocks kind of thing? And then quickly do a concept like you just did, get the asset in place, and then be able to come in quickly and like, so something like plopping rocks or swapping rocks or whatever I can do. So while Bjorn's doing something, that's more critical that I can't do or whatever, then, and then I would just knock that out really quick. But the goal is to look at population, look at rares and drops, look at sort of the state of the zone, hit some of the zone line issues that have come up. And yeah, like just sort of blast through the zones, because we can't do what we did in this like Shaded Dunes. That took too long. Excuse me. That was a good learning process, but like we can't go through and spend a month in every zone like polishing it. That's just not, that doesn't work with our schedule. So it's like, what can we come through and like find the big ticket items and sort of the things that we think are going to have the biggest impact on the zone, on the art side, and then look at anything that are like just big sort of like, I don't know that there are any showstoppers, but like things that have been nagging us. Like, hey, when are we finally going to turn this in around so that it's facing the main gate kind of stuff, and be able to hit those pretty fast, and just kind of blast through all of the existing zones while everybody's working on the next stuff, and then see kind of where we're at with regards to that level of polish. Ideally, that's a process that we bang out, over the next couple of months. And then if we're able to do that, when you look at like the environment schedule, you can see that we've got the potential now to really be caught up and kind of even ahead, even with like the M1 stuff. So it's like that buys us some buffer to come back through even again later if we're finding other stuff that we need to change. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. And I figured I would just discuss that here so that you guys, you're here to, in theory, watch a game development stream, and we don't do a ton of discussion of like our schedule and all that other stuff, though that is a thing that we talked about in the past. It's like, you know, we post a roadmap and you guys have seem to appreciate that and stuff, but like, it, you know, I think it'd be eye-opening for you to see even how we like manage broader scheduling or whatever. Yeah, anyway, so that's the thoughts for like what to do. And since Fallen Pass is, you know, one of the next zones, it's next to SD, people are in, friends and family playing it, it's come up, you know, and it's definitely been on the list. So figure out why not start here. Somebody said something I should have responded to. Amnesiac said, found out about the test from the FOH forums. March was the first time I tried the game. Gave me some of the old feelings EQ captured when I was a kid. That's great to hear. I'm glad you found out about it there. Yes, I do. I do read FOH forum. No, I don't post on FOH forum for the people that called me out for not posting there, or call out people in general. Though I think Nick's posted there before. Mainly because I, you know, people can come here if they want to talk to me. But one of these days, if I was allowed to talk like I talk in real life, then I would maybe talk there. But it's kind of fun to read the banter. Quato said, unfortunately, I think there will always be the people who only follow the same leveling path until someone shows them otherwise. But I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, we do it whenever we're playing like new characters or whatever on like a TLP or P99. But what I mean is, and I think I've just been expressing this really, really poorly, so it's probably going to come off like fucking lame. But what I'm saying is, it would be, and there it does. I guess it doesn't matter. Like people can do whatever they want to do, but it would be a shame for people to like rush, blast through everything, and then like be like, oh, you know, like. That's it. But I guess as long as they're cool with like the understanding that's like the response may be like, yeah, that's it for now, that's it, there you go. But that's not really, I mean, I think there's replayability, but Keith, the reality is like deity, race, class unlock, stuff like that, that's all content that needs to go in, right? Like that stuff's still very shallow, and it's going to be shallow probably to some degree when we're hitting early access, because again, it's not like early access isn't the game is done, right? So, but Quado said, I wager there are classic EQ players who haven't been to all the zones because there isn't anything worth their time, or even read the quest text rather than follow checklists. I mean, but the thing is, that's not bad as long as that's what makes them happy. And I assume, you know, for EQ folks, that must make them happy. Otherwise, they wouldn't be playing it anymore. But it's like, You know, it's a, you know, it's just, I don't know, man. It's kind of like sometimes the people watching this videos that leave comments, they'll be like, somebody left a comment recently that was like, oh, what was it? I wonder if I could find it. It was a YouTube comment. It was just talking about like, well, if you don't change this and this and this about the game, then it's just going to be a game for a bunch of old heads that are looking to like relive their EverQuest days, and EverQuest already exists. It's like that thread that comes up every once in a while. And it's like, okay, I'm assuming that person's not going to reply to this video as well, because I'm kind of like, if you're just figuring that out about the game, then I appreciate that you took the time to comment on the video and that you watched the video. That's cool. But it's kind of like, yeah, but don't stick around to keep repeating that feedback, because it's like, no matter how many times you leave a negative bit of feedback under the guise of looking out for our best interests, we're still not going to date you. Like, we're not meant for each other. That's actually not how you get laid. Aronaf said, what do you think of doing something like Seasons of Discovery did, where they lock everyone at level 30 for some amount of time and then kind of have a raid or boss event for that tier and then unlock higher levels? Aronaf, we once joked that we were gonna make a dad server where we just locked it like every 5 levels for X amount of time. And people bring it up every once in a while. They're like, are you still doing dad server? And we're like, that was kind of a joke. What's the point of making this game even? Are you just trying to entertain people who would think that it's fun or something? Gosh, yeah, right. Well, and I mean, but different people have different definitions of fun, right? Like it's I was just watching a video from a game content creator. And if you guess the name, I'm probably not going to acknowledge it because I'm not looking to like bag on anybody. But the feedback was that he thinks a lot of game developers want to hide the fun behind no fun, and that the way to make a successful game is to make the beginning of the game fun, the middle of the game fun, and the end of the game fun, and not to hide the fun behind the not fun. And it's like, and I think that's fair. I think that is the accurate assessment of like, but then you start getting into the idea of like, you start digging into, well, but what's your definition of fun? And kind of, you know, and I get it. It's kind of like writing, open on action. Right. And there, the video that I watched had some analogies, but the analogies are kind of like contradictory as well. Like, kind of felt like he's contradicting himself, where he's saying like, some TV shows start out slow, but then, you know, so then you could come in later on and be like, in season 4, this character is introduced and they're great. And that's really when the show kind of like hits its peak. But TV shows are different than games. And they need, you know, they need seasons to kind of find their footing and rhythm or whatever. But games are different because these days there's so many forms of entertainment that a game is competing with 10,000 different forms of entertainment. They don't have the luxury of, I was like, they don't have the luxury of a TV show? I guess. Huh? And it's true though. The like, you know, the MMO that you're making is competing with everything else a person could be doing, and you know, that's true. But odds are there's probably something about that MMO that kind of brought them at least over the target. And then there's the question of like, if the 1,000 things that were available, if they were like really compelling to the point of the MMOs like truly strictly competing with that time, then like a lot of the people, why are they there in the first place? Because there's a lot of discussion of, oh, we don't have a game like this, or there aren't a lot of games that I want to play right now, or right, and it kind of ebbs and flows and all that shit. So I just get confused sometimes, because it's kind of like I don't personally find, it wasn't Asmon, I personally don't find like golf exciting. Now like miniature golf I do find exciting, and I understand the appeal of golf, and I think if I ever got out and like played golf, I might enjoy it. I'm not dissing golf at all, but like if I have very limited amount of time right now, and so I'm probably not going to seek out golf, right? But for other people, they're like I can't watch baseball, I can't watch soccer, you know, German football. I can't watch it. If someone's like, hey, do you want to watch this? Especially now that I don't drink anymore. Like I couldn't justify watching it. But there are people that enjoy it, and they're like, well, it's just a different paced game. So I think I think when people are talking about just make it fun, yeah, well, that's the challenge, right? Like, and I know you guys don't like this analogy. I've gotten called out for this analogy in the past, but like there is kind of like a rule. Sorry, I was just checking make sure nothing blew up. There is this I think it's just a matter of like finding a niche that you're capable of like catering to, building a business model around the likely scale of that niche business wise, and just trying to execute on that as good as possible, right? Because it's kind of like the analogy you guys don't seem to like or whatever, it's kind of like, it's like video game rule 34, right? Like there's probably like there's a wide variety of needs on the internet. And so if you kind of build your business around the idea of catering to a need, a unique need, and you execute on that well enough, then if someone else is like, yeah, but that's pretty gross, yeah, sure, we're not arguing whether or not it's like Eminem is for everyone. But we're saying for the people that we're hoping to make it for, our main concern is, does it excite them? Darius says I can have baseball on in the background. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Definitely going to be a constant struggle with dealing with that. For me, not so much. I worry about the team sometimes. Like I try to reiterate some of this stuff for the team. For me, like, because I'm saying I'm articulating this stuff, I'm not articulating anything where I'm like, none of this keeps me up at night, right? Like, this is all kind of real normal stuff. Like, every once in a while, every once in a while something will come up and there'll be like a quote we post in Slack or whatever, and then like, or I'll mention something, or somebody will put something up, and then it's like, one of the guys will be really nice and like remind, hey, well, but don't worry about it. There's just different opinions on the internet. I'm like, no, trust me. I've been working. I started at Variant in like 2000, and it's been my only real career has been working on MMOs. Really, like, I was only in the army for like 3 years, and then we had the skate park for a couple years. So, my adult life has basically been spent having people say mean things about me and on the internet, right? Like, either directly or indirectly. And so, and it's fine. What I've been trying to sort of like do though is kind of maybe prep some of the guys. So you're saying you were molded by it? Yeah. I wish I could do quotes. That would be a great one. Just because it's there'll be a lot of feedback, and it don't want us to be reactionary. The cool thing is, it seems like, as we've done tests, as we do friends and family and stuff like that, the team seems very, very solid on that front. Like, we're not to date, knock on wood, we haven't been like a knee-jerk reaction type team. We're pretty steady, or as my mom would say, steady Freddy, because she's from a different generation. I'm reading. Ali linked an article that says World of Warcraft is getting a one-button option that will automatically cast the ideal next spell, but at a cost. What's the cost? Like mana or like money? Does it cost you? What's it cost? Your soul. No, it doesn't cost $4.99. Blizzard's preparing to add a new feature to World of Warcraft that might sound strange at first, an option to have the game tell you what spell you should optimally cast next in combat, with an additional option simply let the game cast the next ideal spell for you. Oh. Today, in a lengthy video between the game director, Ian, Team Liquid raid leader, Maximum content creator, Dratnos, it was announced that the upcoming WoW patch, a new feature will be added called Rotation Assist. Rotation Assist, when turned on, will highlight in combat the recommended next ability for your character to use based on class, specialization, and combat situation. I don't. Oh, it said global cooldown time. Okay, thank you. Thank you for reading it, because I was skimming and I just went right by it. All right. Yeah, I mean, I'm not like, I'm not in a position to be judgmental, Keith. Like, I'm like, okay. At the end of the day, it comes down to, is that is that what the community wanted? Okay. Like, the thing is, I mean, again, it's back to sort of like, it's like game rule 34, where I'm never, and I feel like I've probably done a poor job so far in this stream or VOD. If you're watching online, be sure to hit subscribe and like and comment below. The like, I'm not being judgmental when I talk about different play styles or whatever. I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying there's there's different styles. And if you're to ask me like, hey, in your perfect world, what would how would people sort of like, or what would be, because even that's the wrong way, like what would be the, when someone comes in and says something cool like, hey, I just played I just played in the playtest for the first time with like my guild or my friends or my, especially like loved ones, family. That's such a nice boost. Like, that's actually, I do the thing where I'm like, oh yeah, I appreciate that or whatever. It probably doesn't convey like how fucking cool it feels to have people come in and say that, right? Like, especially if you look at where we started with the project. It's actually really nice. It really is a big deal. It's not a, like, that's not a, like, we don't take it for granted. I don't know. I can't speak for the whole team, but I hope people on the team don't take that for granted. It's a special thing to have happen. And so when you come in and you tell me, like, just, and again, it's just me, but you're like, hey, I like, that's why I get excited about the idea of something like what Chinny D did when he was playing in a playtest and like was just playing the arbitrage game to build up cash to then be like the first guild on the server, and then it was thematically cool, like only only goblins was only goblins, right? And like that idea of, and this is gonna sound lame because listen, like I've created raids, I've worked on a team that was really sort of in-game raid focused for a while when I was on EQ, and it was fun. So I'm not saying that stuff's not important, or by any means that we're not like thinking about it, or that people on the team don't have that as like their personal thing. But to me, that idea of like someone becoming the known person in Night Harbor that is like the wheeler and dealer and like starts with a stall and maybe has a shop later and is affiliated with a guild that's capable of doing expeditions, and like that guy that like buys the cool ass pack animal donkey that you'll see the model of in the update, and like goes out and like loads up on gear and brings it back to town to sell, or that person that is like prides themselves in finding like really weird rare resources if and when we get them in. Like, all that stuff to me just feels really cool. Like, to me, that makes me feel like, oh shit, we did something right. Like, because we can make a game with like content progression and raid at the end. Like, I'm not going to say it, I'm not going to be hubristic and be like, oh yeah, we can just do that and it's going to be awesome, because we may not do it. Or we may not do it in a way where it lives up to your expectations, and we're like, oh, fuck that up. But like, I think that's one of those things that, is a more straightforward like set of targets, but like to add a bit more world to the game that has that as well has always been kind of the extra, extra, right? Like, and that was one of those things we discussed early on a fair bit, where it's like, is the juice worth the squeeze on this? Like, if we invest in this, and we're looking at like, time to early access, how long is it going to take us to make this project? Years ago, when we were, just a few of us looking at it, And we're like, yeah, but we want to get in these extra features because we think it can make it feel more like a place. Excuse me. Right. And there was definitely some back and forth discussions on that. Right. Like, that's not an easy call to make early on. And there's been plenty of comments in the VODs, in the various discords or forums or whatever, about like, well, why are they wasting their time with this? And it's, you know, like, well, we've thought that this would be important to us. You know, and like somebody is asking earlier about like Brad's intent with regards to, you know, oh, it was like rules lawyering for raids and stuff. Like, I don't, back in the day, like, I can't say for certain. I was never close to Brad. Like, it, you know, talked to him. I don't know. I would say I probably talked to him maybe a dozen times at the most. You know, been in meetings with him when I was there and stuff. But talking to the people in the interviews that I did, which you can watch here, and maybe you can watch the interviews if you haven't already and see if I'm misinterpreting it. But like talking to the people that I know, that I did talk to a bunch that worked with him, he seemed very fixated on this idea of creating a place as well, right? Like, he wasn't like a, again, based on my understanding, based on talking to folks, he wasn't like a hardcore player. There's a ton of like game knowledge and stuff that he didn't have for his own game, right? Though he was only he was one of many people that worked on that game. And I think you can kind of hear that when you listen to the interview with Steve Clover and stuff when he joined Pantheon. He had a great interview there, and you know, you could hear a lot of like Steve's contributions that don't get discussed as much. But I do think one of the things that like Brad kind of hammered on a bit was like, again, sense of place and greater sense of interaction and things like that, right? So making worlds, as I said in like a stream recently, we used to spend a lot more time talking about making virtual worlds rather than making MMOs, for right or wrong. Are we making a game, or is it better to try to make a world all the worlds play, stages set, orchestras right? Oh, Bill. I mean, I think the part that comes with, I mean, the thing that EQ did really well, and this is, we had discussions within the company, like in our little like market research brainstorm group, or discussions with the Star Wars Galaxies team or whatever, and it was like Star Wars Galaxies was very much about you know, they were looking at how do we make this world, this Star Wars world for people to live in, right? Like that's Raph's thing. If you look at what he's doing with Star's Reach, right, he wants to make a living, breathing universe. And so it was very much, and we got into this weird sort of binary, you know, sometimes it almost felt like a zero-sum thing from both sides, where it was like, you know, you've got to make a virtual world, or you've got to make like whack-a-mole progression quest, right? And we were very much like, the formula is cool. Oh, it is getting crazy because I moved my hand. Well, or has it been like that? It could just be that. Oh, stop it. Maybe it's been doing it? Oh, well. Here. That's blasting the top of it. Is that better? Yeah, when I put my hand, yeah. Does it unfix it? Or I mean, does it? freaking streaming. If you saw just how like janky my setup is, yeah, I've got auto white balance on because if I turn it off, then it's like, it's oddly even less predictable. Let's see if we can make things better. So auto exposure is on, white balance. Yeah, it's a, like, it's an older one now as well. It's like a, I don't know, 5-year-old Logi camera. What do you guys do? How do you guys set it up? I honestly don't know. That sounds about right. Let me look. It is a, yeah, it's a C922 Pro. Dude, yeah, this thing, it gets, oh. I guess in theory I could sit down and look at the like auto. Yeah, look at it, just random shit in the background now. Look at the auto settings and try to get it all normalized without them at some point and see how it goes. I'm so bad about the streaming stuff. I know that's like our main, that's how we know each other for the most part. Like this is how we interact. So I'm not trying to dismiss it. It's a very valuable I'm glad it exists, but I'm like, I don't think about this shit ever. Look at it getting crazy again. Like I don't spend any time I don't spend any time outside of like streaming thinking about like how to, for better or worse, how to improve, like, you know, aspects of the stream, just because I've got so much other stuff going on where fucking what are you doing right now? Why are you doing that to me? Green screen. What in the world is going on tonight? Now it's, I've talked smack about it. Now it's really just gonna be. Unplug it, plug it back in. So I just turned off the auto setting, but now that makes me orange. Is that okay? Leave auto white balance on. Okay, I'm gonna apply that. Go back over to exposure, which is auto as well. And then we're going to click that. And then you son of. That's exactly what we wanted to have happen. Super into it. Love it. Thanks. Now it's just straight up green back there. Perfect. Cycling through various status effects. Now I'm invisible. I should just get an IKEA shelf. I should just get an IKEA shelf and put stuff on it and then stop trying to maximize screen. What is, now it's like slowly phasing in. I'm like Homer Simpsoning into a bush. I am in a tent. Drew just swapped the streamers I manage away from green screens for a few various reasons. A lot of studies, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where this room I'm in is so small. It's basically a closet. You know, I could put some stuff in the background so that I'm more relatable as a human or whatever. I'm just trying to basically eat up as little screen space as possible with my box. Maybe that's not the move. Wonder if the large wrinkle is messing with it. If it hasn't, but the large wrinkle is not new. So if it's like, if it hasn't been doing it the whole time. Alright, so Goblin is going to make some new rocks for us. And then we're going to get in here, we're going to do it to it in here. No, I'm glad you mentioned it. Always, please be sure to mention stuff like that. If like something's screwed up with the audio, if the music levels are jacked up, the green screen is mad because I'm gesticulating so much. Let me know because I'm happy to fix it as much as I'm pissing and moaning about it. New as a more replacing the old rocks and rocked. Yeah, we're talking about new rocks, Goblin. I'm just kind of flying through now, trying to visualize what the request needs to be, in terms of like what we need to do to. What we need to do to basically minimize the amount of effort while kind of nailing the big change that needs to happen here. So in the meantime, I'm excited. Tomorrow is a day off for Jasmine. That's we'll probably finish book 7 of Dungeon Crawler Carl tomorrow. Then we've only got like 6 hours left But I'm excited she doesn't have to work tomorrow. Can hang out, listen to the book a little bit, maybe get some sun. The weather has been nice this week. It's finally sunny. Go to the garden, continue to get that fixed up. Yeah, there's some lawn mowing involved. I did that. I did that over the weekend. That was nice. Some whacking of weeds. Getting some of our vegetable beds tuned up so that we can buy some vegetables to plant. Quatos, there's a whole system there that would be nice to be able to flesh out. That concept you're speaking of has definitely been one of those shower thought type things. Again, it's just going to come down to getting the meat and potato systems working and working well, and then see how much more of that other stuff we can get in. If you, Dark Inside said, if you guys make enough money to fund your game, then for 3K I'll have a custom designed pinball machine made for you using old machine and redoing the entire cabinet art and internal parts to match the theme of it. It only costs 3K? Yeah, I mean, if we have the cash, we should totally do that for the team. I will keep it at my house. I'll keep it at my house, but we'll have that made for the team. And whenever they come over, they can play it. But I will post pictures of it on Slack for them. For the team, but it's at my house for them with me. Listen, that is the downside of being in a completely remote distributed team. I didn't make the rules. Can the pinball just be a dwarf doing a continuous barrel roll? Well, what about the spinner? What if one of the like spinners is a dwarf and you hit it and he's just Pato said my first pinball machine I'll buy will be Junkyard from 1996. It's not the best pinball machine, not the worst, but a fun concept. Let me look it up. There's a whole... Oh man, this website's really cool. Alright, definitely look at this later. Darkside said I was gonna have it be Shaded Dunes theme because that was the first one I worked in. I already have a cabinet design designed already in my head. Nice. That's it. We've got to do it. We've got to deliver on this so that we can make your dream come true. I mean, a pinball machine would also have to be able to spin the meat. Oh yeah, we do need a meat spinner in there. Damn. I think if we keep it up, we'll have a really, really solid pinball machine designed by the time it's potentially doable. You guys are going to be on the hook. You're going to have to you're going to have to play, you're going to have to subscribe. I don't want to say play. You don't have to play. You're going to have to subscribe for, everyone's got to subscribe for at least 1 year. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to pull this off. The pinball machine, that is. All right, have fun with the puppy. See you, shoes. Sub goals are now stink lines on goblins and pinball machine. Yeah. We're pretty humble as far as game development teams go. Wormsbane entrance for the pinball to enter? Nice. Good call, Nicodemus. Will we see Stinkline prototypes in the update this week? Nope. We're holding off. We're going to save those for a later update. So that we don't show you all of our good ideas at once. I was like, that's some sort of weird face. Glowing mushroom pins or whatever they're called. Oh, we can have the top level and then there's the deep. It'll be a 2-level one. Yeah, there's a lot of info in this update. A lot of the little stats, so that's exciting. The weather's going to be good, so I'm going to use the fact that we're still waiting on some updates from a few people as a excuse to kind of slack a little bit on it, but I'll try to in the morning, and then when I'm back home at night, I'll try to get the update wrapped up. That's cool, Lorez. We're going to try to get this zone finished up. There's a bunch of stuff in this zone. So I think if we get everything polished up and stuff, it'll wind up being a fun zone for you guys. There are a lot of little sub areas. Yeah, no new test tomorrow, sorry. We're gonna play the AOA test. Yeah, I think it starts Friday, right? Like, I wanted to double check and see if that's something maybe I would play on stream or something. When does that kick off again? Or is it right now? Yeah, it should be Friday. I'm gonna play it either way, but if it's available on Friday, then I'll play it on stream. You love this company, the guys are great. If I can't play it, I'll watch it here. Tight. Nice. Okay. So maybe too late for the stream, but I'll play it over the weekend then. Because it's like midnight my time. No, that's like 1 a.m. my time, I think. Central is like 7, 8 hours difference. I got it up dark inside. Speaking of late, it is 10:55 right now. So almost 11. I like these spiky guys though. The spiky guys are staying over here where these drakes are. Can't wait to stand on the point of them and make my whole group uncomfortable. Just don't fall. Well, there's a bunch of these little dudes here. A bunch of these little guys hanging off cliffs. Oh, it's doing that thing where it's... Oh, there we go. Spire looking assets remind you of wizard portal spots. Yeah. These guys? Hit save really fast. I like these old structures with the black texture, the darker texture on it a lot better. I don't know. That's still not the final texture, but definitely I like where it's heading. Place is so big. Oh, Dogroney says finally have room on my machine for more than like 2 games. Getting a 2 terabyte SSD. I don't know how I survived so long with 500 gigabytes. I feel you. I need to get another SSD. All this I was running out of space constantly on mine, and I moved over to the other drive. I was like, why am I not using this? It's like got like a whole nother terabyte unused. And then it wasn't until after I installed the editor and Eminem and everything on there and was like loading it up that I was like, oh yeah, this is a regular hard drive. Oh, so I should probably get another SSD soon. How much larger do you think you're aiming to make overworld zones than a typical zone in EQ? I mean, zones vary, so it's not really as much a thought about like how is it relative to like an EQ or other game zone as much as it is like how does it feel when we're in the zone, and then especially like more so once you've got like speed buff on and you're wandering around on your mount. That's another thing. It's interesting. Like it'll be interesting to see in future playtests, like whether or not people get to the point where they've got mounts, they're messing around with it and stuff. So yeah, there's some fun mount animations that are going into the update as well. So let me. Don't worry, there's nothing secret there, but I want to dig through images, and I don't want you to see all them. Just got. Oh, it's still on the desktop. That's why. Here, I'll show you an animation that's fun. I don't know what it's gonna be like in game, but I saw I've just seen the GIF. I haven't seen it in game. We gotta get a goat. We've got to get a goat mounting game for gnomes, and do like the little 4-leg kick up. Just kind of like the little 4-legged bounce up. That would be such a cool special button to be able to push. I think everybody would be riding goats. Is that the animation for gnome fast travel? Wouldn't that be fun? A percentage chance for your goat mount to faint. That would be horrible. It fails the faint check, and you're trying to flee. It just tips over. You're like, all right, I guess we're fighting. Yeah. So there's how many horse animation gifts will be in update? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool. Don't want to ruin it for you. This reminds me of kicking people off the edge of the path in Age of Conan. Point the butt at the edge of the path and kick people off to their death. It would be nice if there was a little knockback on that attack. So cool. On that note, you know what, guys? I'm gonna hit save again. I'm gonna wrap up for tonight. and then I will I'll try to get this update wrapped up with the team in the next couple of days, and then we'll have it out. Hopefully you'll be looking at it by Friday's stream. That would be cool. Sorry, Ali, you just missed it. Hello, Ali. He napped through the stream. He needs it. That dude needs to sleep more. All right. So see you, Keith. Good night, Nick. Gunnar Wolf said, "Hatte bra." Hey do. See you, Coot. Adios, Viro. Sleep is for the weak. Yeah, I definitely need it. See you, John. See you, Ali. See you, Perez Dispenser. Thanks, Cod. Driver, and see you, buddy. See you, Scruffy, Tsunami-san. Bill. Doggeroni, Thadvic, thank you. See you, Quatos. You're very welcome. Thanks for being here. Nerve-wrecked, see you. I hope I'm not missing anybody. I got out of order. See you, Swanee. See you, Simon. I'll see you guys in Slack. Dawn Vesper, good night. Nomer Gimson. Yeah, definitely get some sunlight, Swanee. Truce, Kinji, Lasava, thank you for being here. XP, see ya. Worn Out Plays, take care. If I missed your good night at any point before this, you can send it again. I'll wait a minute, and then I'm gonna go. All right, I think that covers it then. I'm out of here. I will see you guys on Friday.